What's up, y'all? This is Hussein Nasser from iGeometry, where we discuss software engineering by example, and welcome to another JavaScript by example episode. This is episode number 8. We stopped for a while, guys, there, but I'd like to pull this series back up. All right, guys. So this is still level 1. We're still building the building blocks of our beautiful calculator. Remember, guys. Let's go ahead and run this. Just make sure that showing you what we have done. Okay, JavaScript by example. Just double click the HTML, and yeah, so we have built all these concepts. We learn how to build basic HTML, and we have written all this code. Right, guys? We have written function. The last thing I remember is like. Building all these get element by ID to get the actual object and add an event so we can click and do something about it. And I want to take we discussed arrow functions and cool other stuff as well. So I want to take this to the slightly next level, right? And talk about arrays and talk about loops and when to use all these cool stuff. Obviously, you have to get and use it, but I deliberately written this code in this manner so you actually understand how why did we do arrays and loops to begin with, right? You have to understand the basic reasoning of us doing anything in life, really, right? You have anything you do, there must be a reason behind it. Okay, so loops. Okay, before we discuss loops, I want to introduce basic CSS, right? So maybe we're gonna split this episode into two, but let's first introduce the CSS, right? So CSS stands for Cascade Styling Sheets. Okay, and these, if you notice in our HTML, it has nothing to do with JavaScript really. But if you notice in our JavaScript, there are a lot of repetition here, right? All these things, these properties, right? With the width and height, the width 30, 30, 30, center, 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 center. All of these are repeated if you think about it, right? So you can use CSS to create a quote unquote a style and then assign these styles to your elements. And this way you can only change one place instead of changing multiple. Let me explain. So now if you decided to change, right, like the width from 30 to 70 or 50, right, you have to go through all of this code and do that change, right? Okay. If you use a style, you can do it one place and it will basically get affected in the entire HTML file. Let's go ahead and introduce that thing. Styles are built in a tag called header. Okay, so we have to build the head. Is it head or header? I forgot. I think it's head. Okay, so you build a head and then you build a style element. Okay, and just by doing that, you can now create a style. Styles, right? There are a lot of types of styles, right? But I want to introduce the class style where you want to create a new type of style. And you always start this with a dot. Okay, you say dot and then the style name. I'm gonna call it symbol because all of our digits and buttons are symbols. I'm gonna call them symbols. That's just how you start your symbol. If you have noticed, guys, I'm sorry I did not mention that. I switched my editor, the text editor, to Visual Studio Code. I really heavily recommend you using that. Okay, go ahead and now code.visualstudio.com, download and install that. It changes your life. Forget about the Sublime text that I used to use. Okay, use this instead. Right, it will change your life, especially for JavaScript. It is so simple. Okay, just go ahead and download that right now before you start coding. Believe me, it will change your life. So what I want to do here is I want to introduce a symbol, and the width of this symbol is always 30 and the height is always 30. pixels. And I want it to be in the middle, so I will use align. I think this thing is called text align last, and that will be center. And that's just the element that will allow us to do a center element. Okay, now guess what, guys? All we have to do is just start removing code. So I want to remove this part. This is all styling, and replace it with class equal, guess what? Symbol. All right, cool, sounds good. Let's go ahead and do it on all of these guys, all of them. Okay, all right, do that. I'm gonna do it on all of them. Oh, what did I do? I'm gonna do it on all of them except the equal element, right? I'm gonna explain why in another video. So we'll just do this. We're gonna keep the ID because we might need to use it, right? Again, the ID is where we can pull that object and do stuff with it, right? Just do that. Yeah, 0 as well. Call span 2, sure, we can keep that. Decimal, what is decimal? That's the dot. I think the dot, okay. All right, so let's just use this. All right, I'm gonna keep the equal here, okay? Oh, you know what? Let's change the equal. I'll tell you later when to fix that. But now, if I do that and then refresh, you notice almost nothing changed, right? It's still my application works nice. 9 times 9 plus 1, 8. Did I do minus or? Yeah, 820 seems to be working. All right, our application is working. Okay, it's like a slightly cleaner code, I guess, right? It's cleaner. The next thing I want to do is I want to understand. See, I had two functions here. One function called print symbol, and the second one print digit. And the only difference is this if statement, where we said if you click the digit 0 and the value of 0, avoid adding duplicate zeros. That's what we did. Remember, guys? That's the number 0. We're adding print digit, and decimal, we're printing a symbol. But that does not, it's not the same case with the symbol because we don't have a 0 in the symbol. The symbol is basically these. That's what I'm referred to as symbol. But now I'm changing all of them. I'm calling them symbols. Okay. So now if you think about it, this is kind of a special case of this, right? So I can actually get rid of this print symbol function and then use print digit, or we can just call it print symbol, right? And then get rid of the print digit altogether. Cool. So now this is my new print symbol function. Cool. But now what should I replace these with? Simple. Replace it with symbol. Symbol, replace it with symbol. Go ahead and replace all of them. You see where I'm going with that, right? I'm trying to make this as homogeneous as possible because the code starts to repeat itself. If you see a code repeating, that's a sign for a loop. Okay? We might actually do the whole thing in one shot. Let's do it. 9 times 9. Things are working. Cool, cool. All right. That's cool. So now, all of this code, I'm getting the number 0 just to add an event listener symbol. And then I'm getting the second one. I'm adding the same event listener. All of this code is exactly the same. The only thing that is changing is actually this, right? This is changing. That is very interesting. Except, if you think about it, guys, these are actually different. The clear button has not the same code as this. So I want to, since it's different, I'm not going to refer it as a symbol. I'm not going to use the class symbol to define the equal and clear. So let's remove that from equal. That's why I'm going to remove that. Okay, because I want to be as consistent as possible. Okay, so we have all this code and we have that. This is what I'm going to do next. I'm going to introduce arrays for you guys. What's an array? An array is, this is how you do an array in JavaScript. Okay, first we'll introduce arrays, and then we're gonna take that knowledge and do something with it. Okay, the arrays. Okay, what is arrays? An array is, this is the notation of an array in JavaScript. So let's create an array. Let's do let array equal this. Okay, and then you put a stuff in this array, right? You put number 9, 7, 6, 4, 3, and that's it. You can build another array B that has apple, lemon, strawberry. This is how I spell strawberry. Don't judge me, guys. The English is not my first language, right? Okay. I'm gonna change it to peach because I don't know if it's that spelling. Okay, so that's the array. Okay, so what's the idea of having everything into a collection, an array of collection? You can then apply the loops. Okay, so the only reason to do an array is to do an iterator, to iterate through them, to tell the computer, hey, start from this and go ahead until the last element. Okay, so now I'm gonna start coding here, just showing you guys how arrays work. Okay, so if I do A and I do sub 0, which is the index of the first element, which is this guy, I'm gonna get an alert of 9. Okay, let's do that. That's a 9. Looks good, right? And if I do alert B sub 0, what do you think I'm gonna get? Apple, right? So what do I get if I do 1, B of 1? I'm gonna get lemon. Okay. And what do I get if I do this? Let I equal 0, start from 0, while I is still less than b.length I plus plus alert b sub I. That's how you do a loop, essentially. And looping will, there are multiple ways of doing loop, but this is the easiest, for loop, right? So you start from 0 and it will do a conditional check, says, hey, is I less than that length of the b, which is 3? Yes, 0 is less than 3. Let's continue. What do you want me to do? If it passes that check, yes, go ahead and execute this. Okay, I'm gonna alert you b sub 0. Okay, so we're gonna get apple. Then move to the next loop, which does this first, increment I by 1. I plus plus means incremented by 1. So I becomes 1. So now do this again. Don't come back here. Just go here. Okay. So 1 is 1 less than 3. Yes, it is. So okay, that passes. So go ahead and do this again. Alert b sub 1, which is lemon. Okay, and you do this again. 2 is less than that. Okay, so still passes. 2 is still less than 3. Passes that. Reaches this. Show you peach. And then increment that, becomes 3. And then check it again. Is 3 less than 3? No, I'm sorry. So that fails. That exit the loop. We will not execute that. So what we get is apple, lemon, peach. Sorry. peach, apple, lemon, peach, apple, lemon, peach. Got it, guys? Get it? Cool. That's cool. Okay, so that's arrays. Okay, I'm gonna keep this for you guys. Right. Again, I'm gonna put the code in the description, so you don't have to like pause the video if you want to. All right. Simple stuff. Simple stuff. Okay. Last thing I want to do is I want to do something very brave. I try at least in my life to do something very brave and get rid of this entire code and replace it with loops. Can I do that? I don't know, man. Can you? Well, first we need an array of all these guys. Okay? How do we build an array of all these guys? I mean, we have all these guys, I think, right? We have all these guys. So all we have to do is just build an array of symbols, right? That's one way of doing it. I have another way of doing it, but I'm going to do it in the next episode. Okay? I want to make things simple for you. So we can do this. Do this. And then just, right? num1, num2, num3. We'll start building the array. Right? num6, num7, num8, num. And then we're gonna add, by the way guys, JavaScript doesn't yell at you when you do this. You can do this if you want to. And then we do shub, and then we do plush, we can do mult. All of them the same code, right? As long as they execute the same code, we're safe. We can do that. Okay. This is num sub, right? Sub plus mult div division decimal, yeah, all of that thing. Clear. I don't think clear is one of them. I don't want to treat clear. I want to treat clear differently. And this. Okay. Something wrong. Okay, I forgot a comma. Sounds good, guys. Right? Sounds good. Let's do it this way. Yeah. So now I have an array. This is one way of doing an array. Another way of doing an array is to do symbols.push, and then you just do num0, and then symbols.push, and then you do num1, and then symbols.push. The only reason you do arrays is to save your life and save you a lot of coding, okay? Sometimes arrays don't work, so you don't have to use them if you want to, okay? So the first part of this episode, I'm gonna try to get rid of all this code now. Who can tell me what should I do? Let's comment all this code. Okay. Comment the code basically, just like don't execute it. All right. So for let I equal 0, while I is less than symbols.length, I plush. What should we do, guys? I want to do. This is the most common code, right, guys? It's even Visual Studio Code is highlighting it. So I say, hey, guys, that's the same code. Why are you repeating the code? So I want to do boop, do this. But what is this? What is this now? This is symbols sub I dot. Does that make sense, guys? I think it does, right? Very simple stuff. So now we just got rid of all this code. Still, we can clean up this code a lot, guys. I built this in this way for a reason, because this is a beginner's JavaScript. We're building JavaScript by example, right? That's how we learn, man. That's how we learn. We don't introduce random JavaScript artifacts and we don't use them. We introduce things that we use in real life, okay? So let's see if this works. Maybe we'll get some bugs, okay? This is how you check for bugs, by the way, guys. You go Chrome, more tools, and then you do this. And then if you see red stuff here, that means there are errors. Okay, let's try. 9 times 9. Oh, guys, it's working. I am very happy. It is working. Okay, how about now? See? Division? Ooh, working. Clear? 9 plus parentheses 1 times 9 plus parentheses 8 times 9 parentheses. Guys, this is great, right? This is excellent. This is excellente. All right. Okay, I should have done. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna stop here. Okay, let you digest this. Arrays, loops, and CSS. The reason I did CSS is in the next episode, and I think some of you already started to gaze as well. Essentially, the reason I introduced CSS is to get rid of the rest of the code. To get rid of this code, essentially. And we're gonna ask HTML, says, hey, give me an array of all your symbols. And that will give us an array, and this code will remain the same. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Subscribe if you like this video. All right, guys. Check out the other content in this channel. There is a lot of cool stuff, right? And I'm gonna see you in the next one. You guys stay awesome.